to talk adopting a growth mindset and a starch-based diet for happiness. And he is an online mindset and lifestyle coach supporting heart-centered individuals to overcome self-doubt and procrastination. In addition, Benjahmin owns Kauai Deep Tissue. He's an amazing massage therapist, by the way. So if you guys need any deep tissue work, I'm a tough one, and he works on me. So he does therapeutic body work, and for decades he has suffered from depression, anxiety, poor body image, and disordered eating issues. After many failed vegan weight loss attempts and a declining self-esteem, he discovered a starch-based vegan diet. Benjahmin also learned how to transform his self-image and adopt a growth mindset. As a result, Benjahmin is passionate about inspiring others, empowerment, confidence, and self-expression. So basically, let's turn this over to Benjahmin, and go ahead, brother.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Can everyone see the slides okay from where you are? Excellent. Welcome to adopting a growth mindset and starch-based diet for happiness. I'd like to invite everyone to take a moment, if you want to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about just one thing you're grateful for. Excellent. So our objectives for today: we want to learn some new strategies for our health, cultivate interest in our health and our well-being, and make lasting improvements in our life. And lastly, have some fun. So please, if you have any questions throughout my talk, don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask away. Quick overview, I'm going to do a little brief introduction. We're going to look at what is health and why diet and mindset matter for our health. Adopting a starch-based diet, adopting a growth mindset, and then to conclude, taking action. Where do we go from here after this presentation? Who am I? My name is Benjahmin Koenigsberg. I was born in New York City. I was born a cesarean birth, and then immediately after I was circumcised. Research has shown that circumcision leads to irreparable damage to certain parts of the brain. So forgive me if I slur my speech or my slideshow's kind of lousy. But no, despite that, I had a loving, secure upbringing, but still around age 7 or 8, I started getting chubby, started comparing myself to my brother who was eating the same foods I was, but remained trim and active. So that low self-esteem, poor body image, poor self-image lasted through adolescence. One of the quotes in my 8th grade yearbook quote was, "I'm a babe magnet, I'm just facing the wrong way." So, okay, I'm a massage therapist. I specialize in deep tissue, helping active people get out of pain and maintain pain-free bodies and lifestyles. And I'm a lifestyle and mindset coach. My focus is on helping heart-centered individuals, those creatives, sensitive, thoughtful, spiritual people, overcoming self-doubt so they can pursue on the extraordinary relationships, health, and impact that they truly want in life. Okay, so a little bit about my story, my poor self-image. I had a lot of transformation, little breakthroughs along the way, and starch-based diet and growth mindset are some of the pivotal transformations, and that's part of my passion and my purpose now. I feel a little bit more empowered, a little bit more emboldened to share what I'm passionate about and see if we can just make a little bit more difference in the world. But what is health? According to Wikipedia, health is the ability to adapt and manage physical, mental, and emotional challenges throughout life. Here's a couple of my definitions. The ability to participate in desired activity and take action towards desired goal. And then a fulfilling relationship to self and with others. Okay, what is the only possession that's truly yours for the entirety of your life? Anyone? Body. Look at that precious baby right there. Now, have you ever stopped for a moment just to contemplate the sheer odds of you being born who you are? Have you just thought for a moment the probability of 1 in millions of sperm, 1 fertile egg, your parents meeting and then procreating precisely at the moment that they did? And then that happening again and again, all your ancestors in all sides going back in an unbroken chain since the dawn of creation. That's a miracle right there. So let me ask you, do you believe that the food that you eat plays a role in your health or your quality of life? By show of hands, yes? Okay. Well, I know I'm preaching a little bit to the choir here. Okay, are you in control of your eating, your cravings, and your weight? Managing your weight and your cravings? Are you in control? Okay, we got a mixture here. Too much, are you eating more convenience food than you want to be eating? More packaged food, more takeout, restaurant food. Okay, got to mix some mixes here. And do you have all the energy and focus and stamina that you want throughout the day without having to rely on stimulants? Okay, 80% of our immunity is in our gut. And there's a strong correlation between the foods we eat and the emotions that we're going to feel. Disease, quality, and longevity of life, and our gene expression are all impacted by the foods we eat or don't eat. Problems associated with compromised diet. Let's see, illness. USDA estimates that only 11% of the calories that Americans are eating, 11% of the portion of the food we're eating, it comes from whole plant food. That's 89% of the food we're eating coming from animal foods or processed plant food. According to British Medical Journal, World Health Organization, and countless others, consumption of red meat and an increase in cancer, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, liver and kidney disease, all associated with red meat consumption, and risk prevention, risk reduction with the higher intake of fruits and vegetables. Weight gain, body image, emotional eating. Does anyone here experience emotional eating? Binge eating? Feeling guilty afterwards, but doing it again? Okay. So we have 64.5% of Americans overweight or obese. And then according to one study, 91% of women are unhappy with their bodies and resorting to dieting and to achieve their ideal body shape. Okay, and we know men struggle with this too. Maybe they don't, it's not talked about as much. People feel poorly because they are nourished by foods you wouldn't feed to your dog and cat. The rich Western diet is full of fat, sugar, cholesterol, salt, animal protein. All the wrong foods for people. So we're going to look at a diet. Has anyone been on a diet before? Has anyone tried dieting? Okay, did it work? Did it work? No? Okay. So diets don't work. They can't be restrictive, or we can't feel too restrained. Maybe for a week or 2 weeks or a month, but it's not sustainable. Calorie counting, again, you don't want to walk around with a scale and having to weigh out all your portions. And can't be fighting cravings. We can use willpower a little bit, maybe for a cookie or two, but that's not going to last for the entirety of our life trying to eat healthy. And we can't have to rely on excessive exercise. How many people here want to be at the gym 2 hours a day so they can eat? Oh, okay, nice. One person, 2 hours, okay. Couple of gym rats, okay. Well, you don't want to have to rely on being in the gym for, right? That's a nice kind of added thing, but you don't want to have to rely on that to maintain your health. But what is the diet, the food style that we want to eat? The foods we want to eat have to be tasty. We have to be tantalizing our taste buds. And it has to be satiating. Who wants to be eating every 20 minutes? No, we want to eat. We want to move on with our day. Convenient. Okay, it has to be convenient for us to stick with it for the long term, and certainly economical. How many people have experienced buying a very expensive superfoods or supplements? Certainly, okay, and then relying heavily on fresh produce to get the bulk of our calories can be very expensive, time-consuming, going to the farmer's market almost daily. And we want it to contribute to our health. Okay, Dr. John McDougall. He's the author of The Starch Solution. Eat the foods you love, regain your health, and lose the weight for good. He started out as a plantation doctor on the Big Island in the 70s and saw the degradation of health from generations coming from the different countries that people traditionally have immigrated to Hawaii from. And he saw with the generations, as they adopted more of a traditional Western American diet, the illnesses increase. And he's literally reversed disease for over thousands of his patients using a starch-based diet. Okay, what is starch? So that's a complex carbohydrate. Potatoes, yams, sweet potatoes. Grains, all the grains, oatmeal, rice, quinoa, amaranth, millet, wheat, corn, taro, plantains, green banana, yucca, and winter squash, all the winter squashes, acorn, pumpkin, butternut. Okay, and legumes, beans, lentils. So it's satiating. So the thing about starchy foods, is it literally fills us up. So it's bulky foods that physically fill the stomach. And why is it called comfort food? The breads, the pastas, the rice, beans, the sweet potato. When we eat those foods, it signals a dopamine, serotonin release, so it feels good. That's why it's the comfort food. And it's full of fiber. This food is full of fiber, and it's sustained, slow-burning energy, which is pivotal, so we can eat and we can go about our day for several hours, and not this highs and lows of spiking. Fiber is described as non-digestible carbohydrates and lignans that are intrinsic and intact in plants. So it helps maintain bowel health. Everybody knows about Metamucil, right? Okay, so the idea is not just to wait till we're constipated, but to have a diet full and rich in fiber. Helps control blood sugar levels. Feeds billions of gut in our bacteria, billions of bacteria in our gut. Okay, the fiber we eat is food for the healthy bacteria in our gut. Healthy gut bacteria, healthy gut environments, that equals strong immunity and strong intestines. Okay, according to nutrition and dietetics, higher intakes of dietary fiber reduce the risk of developing several chronic diseases, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and associated with lower body weight. Okay, another crucial distinction about this food style is it's oil-free. How many people here love their olive oil? How many people cook with olive oil, put olive oil on everything? Okay. So olive oil is a highly refined food. It takes 20 to 40 olives to get 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So think about it. Our body is set up for 20 to 40 olives in there, but it's getting just the oil from 20 to 40 olives without the fiber, the water, the phytonutrients, vitamins and minerals. So it's missing the bulk. And that's 100% calories from fat. What's the definition of junk food? Is empty calories. Okay, our body doesn't run on fat. There's barely any minerals in that. So it's empty calories that bypass the satiation signals. Okay, our stomach relies on expanding physically to signal to our brain to stop eating. So when we eat foods rich in oil, we're getting a lot of calories. We're getting dense substances, but we're not telling our brain to slow down or stop eating. And that's why it's very easy to overeat on oil-laden foods. Okay, 2 tablespoons of olive oil is the same calories of 2 cups of oatmeal. Which one's gonna fill you up more? Oatmeal. Okay, oil is 4,000 calories per pound. Table sugar, 1,725 calories per pound. Okay, and then put that in another perspective. Salad, like a pound of spinach, that's 100 calories. And this whole starch foods that I'm recommending, that's about 500 to 700 calories per pound. So that's the difference between calorie dilute and calorie dense. Okay, so you can see how your tummy is going to get filled up on these starchy foods. Okay, and again, the oil feeds unhealthy gut bacteria and causes inflammation and clumps and slows our blood flow. Again, another crucial distinction, this lifestyle, this food style is animal-free, so it's completely vegan. So no meat, that's no chicken, no beef, no fish, no pig, no eggs, no dairy. So that's no yogurt, no cheese, no milk. Does anyone in here eat animals? Any non-vegans in here? A little bit? Couple? Okay, okay. So when we eliminate animal foods from our diet, we're immediately reducing our exposure to harmful chemicals and GMOs. Did you know that 80% of the pharmaceuticals manufactured and sold and consumed in this country are for livestock? 80%, I mean, if we think about all the people on the whole opioid crisis and all the people on like blood thinners or anxiety medication, that's only 20% of all the pharmaceuticals. And then that's fed to the animals, and then they accumulate it in their bodies, and we eat that. The USDA reports that 70% of food poisoning is caused by contaminated animal flesh. USDA also, 99% of cows on large feedlots in the US are given hormonal implants. So that's on top of the antibiotics. That's hormonal implants that, again, that we're ingesting and eating. Cholesterol, dioxin, E. coli, arsenic, carcinogens, doo-doo, pus, blood, that's all on the animal food. Okay, reverse and reduce risk of disease, like we said, cardiovascular disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes. And it's better for the environment and obviously for the animal, that sentient being that has a will to live. The Food and Agriculture Organization says animal agriculture is responsible for 18% of greenhouse gas. That's more than all the transportation sectors combined. Some people think that a plant-based diet, whole food diet, is extreme, but 500,000 people a year will have their chest opened up and vein taken from their leg, sewn onto their coronary artery. Now, some people would call that extreme. Do we know anyone here that has, knows anyone that had a bypass surgery or like a stent put in? Okay. So just for little anecdotes here. So this is Chris Voigt. He was, I'm not sure what year, several years ago, he was the executive director of Washington State Potato Commission and wanted to prove that potato was a healthy food. So he ate nothing but potatoes for 60 days, lost 21 pounds, and had significant reductions, cholesterol, triglycerides, all that stuff, reducing his risk for illness and diabetes. Here's Andrew Flinders Taylor from Melbourne, Australia. He ate nothing but potatoes for a whole year, okay, and lost over 100 pounds and cured a lot of his emotional eating and food addiction issues. So if anyone thinks that potatoes and carbohydrates are going to make you fat, here's some evidence right here. Okay, what's one thing that everyone has within them that with a small shift, that with a small shift can make a big shift? We have it within us. Okay, a couple answers. That's our mindset. Does anyone know any negative people in their life that, despite having many blessings to count on in their life, they're going to focus on the negative? Yeah? Okay. So we know that mindset matters. Carol Dweck, she said, I've always been deeply moved by outstanding achievement and saddened by wasted potential. Has anyone else here ever been saddened by wasted potential, even in themselves or a loved one? Yeah? Do you believe that the thoughts you think play a role in your health or your quality of life? You do. Do you shy away from asserting yourself in voice or in meetings or in group settings? Show of hands. Or do you ever shy away from initiating conversation with a stranger or someone you don't know? And have you ever shied away from taking a challenge or taking a risk for fear of looking foolish or silly or being called a fake or a phony? I know I have. Okay, and then do you want to be making a bigger impact in the world, in life, with your gifts? Yes? Okay. So this is important. This is important stuff, hence part of why I'm up here sharing this. Okay, our mindset is our built-in and automatic filter that we perceive the reality of life. life circumstances. That's our mindset. We're filtering. We're always filtering. Deeply held beliefs about ourselves and the world. How many people here have ever just said like, oh, I'm not an artist, or I'm not good at math, or like, I'm terrible at this, I never win anything. Okay, it's beliefs that we have about ourselves that we keep reinforcing. And we can build entire identities and psychologies of motivation around our behavior and from our mindset. And certainly built-in biases like racism, sexism. Maybe we were praised as a child for how beautiful we were, how talented we were, or we were put down. Told that we were unworthy, unlovable, stupid. Okay, and then maybe some of us had past traumatic experiences with taking risks or failing. That's certainly going to play into our mindset. Some problems associated with the compromised mindset: low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, loneliness, social isolation. The AARP is saying over 42 million adults age 45 and older in the US are suffering from chronic loneliness. And National Association of Mental Illness, approximately 1 in 5 people in the US are going to deal with mental illness this year. Has anyone ever dealt with low self-esteem or anxiety, depression, self-doubt? Okay. Missed opportunities. Does anyone feel like they missed out on opportunity in life because they didn't go for it, or they didn't feel like they were worthy or capable of going after it? Okay, me too. And certainly stress. Okay, Carol Dweck, PhD. She's a professor of psychology at Stanford and studies human behavior, human motivation, what makes people successful. She wrote the book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. And she teaches educators and others around the world about growth, adopting a growth mindset. So Carol Dweck, in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weakness, we're thinking, oh, wow, here's a chance to grow. So let's look at a fixed mindset. I believe my potential, my character and skills are fixed, inherent, and determined at birth. Again, have you ever just thought, I can't do that? We avoid failure and challenge in a fixed mindset. And we want to look good. We really want to look good, and we really don't want to look bad. We take criticism and feedback personally, maybe even get defensive. Okay, and we stick to what's familiar. We stick to what we know, because it's comfortable. In a growth mindset, we believe that our potential, our ability, and our character can be developed. It can be developed, and therefore our true potential is really unknowable. We put in effort to learn. We really value effort in learning things, learning new skills. Confront uncertainties. Okay, these are opportunities to grow. We're going to embrace challenge, confront uncertainties, always learning. So in a growth mindset, we're always continuously learning, and we're not afraid to fail. Okay, we can also take feedback, and we can take constructive criticism, and we can use it to grow. How many people are familiar with neuroplasticity? Okay, a few hands. So this idea that the brain has this ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. So maybe some people thought it was just babies and then developing humans that had this ability. But no, this is happening throughout our entire life. It happens every day, but we can encourage and we can stimulate it. Has anyone ever, just for something different, taken a different route home from work or school? Or purposely order something different off the menu, for example? Okay. So that's the way we're stimulating and encouraging new neural connections. And when we learn something new, we're literally rewiring our brain. I don't divide the world into the weak or the strong or the successes and the failures. I divide it into the non-learners and the learners. There's a quote by Benjamin Barber. Okay, so to conclude, our diet and our mindset vastly influence our health. starch-based diet is optimum. That's optimum for our health. And a growth mindset is optimal for happiness. Okay, how are we going to adopt a starch-based diet? Here's some guidelines. 70% of your food, of your plate is going to come from whole starches. Potato, yam, rice, oatmeal, corn, beans. 20% from vegetables, 10% from fruit. Again, that's no oil. That's no oil. And limited whole plant fats, so it's avocados, oils, and coconut meat. Avoid animal foods, and just focus, to start, just focus on increasing your starch. You don't have to worry about being restrictive. I mean, certainly there's some restrictions here, some guidelines. Okay, the food style. Potatoes, rice, oatmeal, grains, beans, corns, plantains, squash, cereal, bread, pasta. How many people love this food? Nice. How many people crave this food but thought they weren't allowed to eat it because it was going to make them fat? Okay. So herbs and spices, that's fresh and dried spices and herbs. Salt and sugar in moderation. We don't have to be scared of sugar, even refined sugars like maple syrup or table sugar. Certainly if that's going to aid in us eating more of this whole starchy foods, putting maple syrup, brown sugar on your oatmeal. If that's the difference to get you to eat your oatmeal, it's so worth it. Leafy greens and other vegetables, okay, and then fruits. So no oil. How are we going to do that? Steam. Steam your food. I recommend go out and get an electric steamer. Because I was always the water would boil off. I'd leave my pot, leave my steamer, and come back to no water, and the pot's brown and blackened. So I recommend an electric steamer. Boiling your plantain, boiling your potato, boiling your food, making soups. And then you can bake on parchment paper. So you can do your veggie roast. Pizza crust, all kinds of things. Pie crust, I'm doing on parchment paper. And then saute in water or lemon juice, or get one of those non-stick pans. Okay, you don't need to put any kind of oil or lubricant on there. You can saute and you can brown your home fries, for example. And limited restaurant food, because you know they use so much oil. So much oil in restaurant food. Okay, so low fat. So we're gonna avocados, nuts, olives, and seeds, and coconut meat in moderation. Certainly nut butters in moderation. That's another level of processing when they gotta grind up all the nuts. And especially if your weight loss is one of your concerns or one of your goals. If you're not concerned about that, then you might not restrict yourself at all on some of these whole plant fats. There's ample protein and fat and micronutrients and amino acids in starchy foods, supplementing with fruits and vegetables. Okay, according to the Stanford Coronary Risk Intervention Project, demonstrated that diets very low in total fat can not only prevent atherosclerosis, but actually shrink plaque and reverse atherosclerosis. How many people here love hummus and corn chips? Okay, so we can still be on this is an example. I was on a vegan diet. There was a lot of hummus, a lot of corn chips, a lot of nuts, a lot of nut butter, a lot of things like tahini, a lot of avocados, sometimes 2 whole avocados in a smoothie. Because if you think about a big salad, so there's probably not even a pound of lettuce in your salad. That's not even 100 calories. But then you're going to pour on the oil, put on the avocado, tahini dressing. Most of those calories now are coming from fat, and that's why people don't feel satiated. People don't feel satiated in the morning. They have a protein smoothie or they have a little piece of fruit or something like that. And then when we get hungry, what we do, we bonk. When we don't fill up on these fiber-rich foods, we're going to bonk. And that's when we can when we want to get those calorie-dense foods, the oil-laden foods, those rich processed foods right away because we're bonking. So I recommend starting your day with some oatmeal and blueberries in the morning. Again, this diet is animal-free. No meat, no chicken, no fish, no beef, no eggs, no dairy, no yogurt, no milk, and no cheese. The beef industry has contributed to more American deaths than all the wars of all the century, all the national disasters, and all the automobile accidents combined. Okay, adopting a growth mindset. So challenges become exciting. If we look at challenges as opportunities to grow instead of being afraid that we're going to fail, challenges are exciting. So embrace our fail. There's actually no such thing as failing and making a mistake. Is a baby failing and making a mistake when it's learning to walk and it falls down? No. So why are we failing or making mistakes when we're going after our goals? where we're pursuing our ideal life. That's literally the process of learning and growing. And learning is more important than looking good or avoid looking bad. So when we don't worry so much about the static grade we got on the exam or this static piece of validation we're going to get from someone, and we focus on learning, that's the growth mindset. Okay, and praise the process. So if anyone has children or loved ones going through facing challenges right now, make sure not just to praise them on their static qualities like their brilliance or their innate ability, but their resourcefulness, their effort that they're putting in. Okay, and we can look at difficult opportunities in a new way. And then I offer a complimentary breakthrough clarity coaching session that's available to everyone here. Okay, that's a 60 to 75 minute one-on-one phone conversation where we can help you get really clear on what's not working for you in life and where you really want to be. Maybe it's somewhere with diet or mindset, health somewhere else, relationships, or the impact you want to be having. And let's get clear on where you really want to go. Again, this is part of my passion, my purpose. I help my clients reprogram deeply held beliefs and that internal self-talk, that internal dialogue that's at the root cause of our self-doubt and our procrastination. And then implement healthier habits, because when we have habits, we don't have to worry about being healthy or being successful or being on track to our goals when we do things habitually. And get accountability. Okay, we all know what happens if we're late to work, right? Someone's there to hold us accountable if we're late to work. What about if we're late on a credit card payment or a bill payment? Someone there, okay, but what about if you're late to your workout? Or what if you don't come to your workout, or you don't show up to your journal, or you don't show up to your easel? Who's there to hold you accountable? Okay, so it helps to have extra accountability. So please talk to me after. I would love to get you scheduled on a consult call. And follow up. I have a handout that I printed for everybody. It has some of my information, and it also has the books I mentioned in the talk and a few other documentaries I recommend and some websites as well for you to check out and take your curiosity further. And I'd like to close it out with a quote from the late Nelson Mandela. He said, "Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." And the power of yet is not the end. It's not the end, because we're always learning with perpetual growth. So that's the power of yet. If you don't have something in your life, a skill or a level of achievement in your life, it's not yet. That's the power of yet. So keep striving for your dreams. Keep working towards your ideal life. Keep using your unique gifts to bring joy, creative expression, and love into the world. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Brother Benjamin.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yes, thank you. I wanted to just thank Benjamin myself, because that spoke to me. This is a talk that we need to listen to, not just tonight, but listen to over and over, because even just with the situation of the Vegetarian Society, we embrace change as an opportunity for something positive. We don't have to look at it as, oh, well, it's going to close down. No, it's not going to happen. It's an opportunity for somebody to step up and move into a new dimension, So it encouraged me as well, because, everything happens in life, and we can either have a positive or a negative response to it. And when you drop the growth mindset, you start realizing, wow, this is an opportunity for change, for success, for a new beginning, or whatever, You don't have to accept that it's going to close down.
Okay. Yeah, is that like Dr. Tim Gundry and the plant paradox? Dr. Tim Gundry and plant paradox? Yeah, okay. So the question was about the lectins? Lectins, and I guess the idea, I don't know that much about it, but the idea is a plant has a natural defense mechanism for when it's growing, and then these things can be inflammatory for us. So I know that his diet, because he recommends it, things like pressure cooking your beans, for example, or using white rice instead of brown rice because it's had the husk removed, you remove the lectin. So there's ways that you can pair the information he's giving with starch-based diet if you're concerned with the lectins and its implications on your health.
Okay.
What about mushrooms?
Yeah, I think mushrooms, again, are good to supplement with. I know tons of great benefits of mushrooms, but they're not going to fill us up as far as the bulk of our calories. So it's just like a side dish. So yeah, the mushroom like a side dish. And again, because like as a vegan before, I thought broccoli and all that was the healthiest thing. So I was eating so much broccoli and lettuce, but that doesn't satiate. For me, it didn't satiate. I was still hungry, and then again, I was going to reach for those calorie-dense foods later. No, not at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do have a question. It has to do with, you mentioned some of the grains, and you didn't really talk about the effects of gluten. And I know that's a concern for a lot of people, as far as wheat, corn, you know, some of the soy and all this.
Right.
A lot of the grains today, people having, you know, all kind of intestinal problems because of gluten.
Gluten, for sure. Okay, well, my understanding is that a lot of people that think they're gluten intolerant, there's really a smaller portion of people that are actually so gluten intolerant that it's going to seriously jeopardize their health. My understanding is that it's a lack of fiber in our diet. The standard American diet is almost devoid of fiber because animal foods don't have any fiber at all. And then processed plant foods, the fiber has been, you know, completely stripped or completely processed that it's almost irrecognizable. So that gut environment, the unhealthy gut environment, is what causes inflammation, because what happens is those unhealthy gut bacteria and the healthy bacteria that's starved because it has no fiber, has no food, this is a sort of a cannibalic process. It starts to eat away at that lining of the gut, and that's leaky gut, and that's so much autoimmune issues and so much inflammation. So that's my understanding. But you can certainly do this diet on gluten-free.
Yeah.
Focusing on potatoes, now they make, you know, pastas and breads, all those kinds of things from other grains.
Okay, great. Anyone else?
Oh, what about fruits? Yeah, I recommend fruits. I definitely recommend fruits because of all, you know, the water. They also have fiber, tons of micronutrients. But again, for the bulk of our calories, won't fill us up. So, you know, some guidelines for people that are really interested in weight loss with this diet, he recommends starting your meals with fruit and soup, so you already kind of start to fill up on the fruit. Because remember, I was talking about like 4,000 calories per pound in oil. Fruit is only a couple hundred calories per pound. So we start with those more calorie dilute foods, and then move into those more calorie dense foods. Okay, yes, so there's no harm in sugar. I mean, certainly refined table sugars and stuff, it's not like a health food. But when it comes to detrimental health implications, it's not the sugar, it's not the refined sugar. Because when most people are eating sugar, they're not just putting brown sugar on their oatmeal. They're not just pouring maple syrup on their potatoes or on their veggies. It's with the shortening, the hydrogenated oils, the butters, the things that go into baked goods. For example, the ice cream, for example, is the fat. I don't know if does that answer your question?
What about carrots? I think carrots have a lot of sugar.
Yeah, carrots are good, and it's close. Carrots are a little bit more starchy. But again, I think you want to focus on the potatoes, the grains, oatmeal, corns, legumes.